This is Just Hebrew Reading, Unit number 8, the last in the series of our Hebrew reading program. We're going to be looking at two issues. One is the Ktiv and Kri issue, and the other is God's Hebrew name, the four letters that make up God's name in Hebrew, the Tetragrammaton. One of the things that we need to deal with is something called the Ktiv and the Kri. The Ktiv is the written text. It is the consonantal text that we get presented with in the Bible. The text is considered sacrosanct and unchangeable. It is what we are given. But sometimes there may be a problem with a particular word or phrase in the text. There may be a problem of the grammar or the morphology of the word, or even in some cases, just how polite the Hebrew text might be. And so the Masoretes, the people who put in the vowels in the words, came up with the solution which they called the Kri. That is the way, in spite of the consonants, the way the text is to be read. So let's go see how this process of the Ktiv and the Kri actually work out. The problematic word in the text, the Ktiv, is marked with an asterisk, or in other cases it might be left without vowels at all. The word that's suggested by the Masoretes, the alternative word, the Kri, is offered in a footnote, note the asterisk, or it is placed in brackets next to the unpointed consonants. If the word is footnoted, the vowels of the alternative word of the Kri are placed around the consonants in the text around the Ktiv. The problematic word then is read as the offered Kri, either the word as it appears in brackets or as it is presented in the footnote. The consonants in the text are ignored. Now, sometimes the change of the Kri appears so frequently and is so common that Hebrew will not mark the text or provide a footnote. The vowels of the Kri are simply placed around the Ktiv, around the consonantal text, and the word is read as we have learned to do. For example, there is this word that without vowels it could be hu or ho, but the grammar requires it to be read as he. So the text will put in the vowels of he around the Ktiv, the consonantal text of our letters, and we would read it as we normally would. There is nothing unusual about how we would read this in any case. So this is an example of a constant Kri. Another example of the constant Kri shows up in God's special name. God's special name shows up as these four letters, Yud, He, Vav, He, the Tetragrammaton. We no longer know how that really is to be pronounced, and rather than guess, we put around it the vowels of the word Adonai. And so the four-letter name of God is always pronounced as Adonai. So you will see this Yud He Vav He with the vowels of Adonai, here, Adonai, to tell us that when you see this, don't try and guess it, the word is to be read as Adonai. Now, just as a sidebar, in the 19th century, German Protestant scholars, biblical scholars, looked at that and read it as if it were a word and came up with Yehovah. And that's how we came to arrive at Jehovah. But clearly, Jews had never referred to the Jewish God by that word. In some parts of the Bible, the Kri, Adonai, as a word in letters, shows up directly into the text itself. And sometimes it will show up before the Tetragrammaton, and sometimes it will show up after the Tetragrammaton. In either case, when you end up with the Tetragrammaton and the printed letters of Adonai, it will always be read as Adonai Elohim. Let's go take a look at that more specifically. Here you have the 4 different forms of Adonai as it will show up in the biblical text and as it shows up in the prayer book. Here is the Tetragrammaton without vowels. Here is a Tetragrammaton with a constant Kri of Adonai. Here is Adonai all by itself with its appropriate vowels. And this, the 2 Yuds, have the lower or the bottom vowels of Adonai. You'll find it in the prayer book, and this is also to be read in the same fashion. Now, you will also see the word Adonai together with Elohim, usually translated as the Lord God. Sometimes it will be the word Adonai, sometimes it will be the Tetragrammaton, but in both cases, both are read as Adonai Elohim. Now, here it becomes a little bit tricky. Sometimes you will see the letters of Adonai in front of the Tetragrammaton. Sometimes you will see the Tetragrammaton followed by the word Adonai. Now, you might think you would read this as Adonai, Adonai, but in fact, we do not. We take the first word read as Adonai, but we put the vowels of the word Elohim around the second word, as we do above in line number 2. So in line 3, this would be read as Adonai Elohim, and this would be read as Adonai Elohim. Both cases a constant Kri. We'll see an example of that in Isaiah chapter 61, verse 1, where the line runs, Ruach Adonai, and here's our next word, Elohim. Great. Now, sometimes the Tetragrammaton will have a prefix, such as ba or ka or la. Now, because this is Adonai, you might think that this should be read as ba Adonai, but in fact, it is altogether Badonai, and this is Kadonai. This is Ladonai, and this again, Badonai. Good. Same thing with the word Adonai itself, not as a Tetragrammaton, but as the word spelled out in consonants, Badonai, Kadonai, Ladonai. So, okay, now that we've dealt with some specific issues, we're ready to do some more reading practice. Only this time, as you can see, we're going to be doing phrases rather than individual words. And we're only going to be doing this once, and we're going to do a little more quickly. So hold on to your seats. Here we go. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Kidshanu B'mitzvotav Bechol Levavcha Uvechol Nafshecha Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Lemor Hineni Mamtir Lechem Min Hashamayim Chaye Olam Nata Betochenu. Kach et bincha et yechidcha asher ahavta והקימותה שם מזבח לאדוני אלוהיך. ותקרא את שמו יששכר, להדליק נר של Shabbat. And now, the last phrase, Shehecheyanu, Vekimanu, Vehigianu, Lazman Hazeh. This is the concluding form of the blessing, thanking God for keeping us alive, for sustaining us, and for allowing us to reach this moment. And this moment is the mastery of all 22 consonants, all 12 vowels that will allow you to be able to read Hebrew with confidence and with accuracy and with fluency. The trick, of course, is now that you've mastered this skill, is to keep using this skill. The more you read, the better your fluency with Hebrew, and the quicker you'll be able to read it and feel comfortable doing so. I'm glad that you've joined me right to the very end. I always welcome your comments and your criticism and critiques and your suggestions for improvement. You can do that by sending me an email at just.hebrew@gmail.com or adding your comments down below on the site. I hope too that you'll check the channel from time to time to see new videos that are posted that will get us deeper and deeper into mastery of not only reading but also comprehension and other elements that go into the mastery and learning of Hebrew. So again, I wish you Mazal Tov for having accomplished what you have. Many congratulations on this effort that you've now accomplished, and I look forward to seeing you on other sites on my channel. Only good. Bye.